Okay, thank you very much, guys. I don't know if you can hear my voice. If you can hear my voice, okay, thank you very much, guys. I don't know if you can hear my voice, and if you can hear my voice, we thank God. It has been a very long time. Sorry for delays and other stuff, but I've been very busy, so nowadays I'm not able to record tutorials and uploading it online. So I've seen it to be helpful to better do it live so that we can study. Okay, so after we have been off from now, you can come back and look at the tutorial. Now, this morning is going to, if you look at the thumbnail for this particular tutorial, is how to render very fast in Premiere Pro. And I can do it pre-recorded, but I decided to do it practically so that all of us you see. There is this video, wedding video that I edited, okay, and it's almost 1 hour 15 minutes. And what I want to render this video is giving me some weird time of render. I can have 180 something hours of rendering, of which is not helping. So how can we render very fast in Premiere Pro? And as I said in our WhatsApp group pages, I said that I'm also going to talk about Filmora, okay? Because most of us, I know most of us use Filmora because of the rendering rate and how fast it is. But you should know that Filmora is a beginner's video editor's program, yeah, so or software. So let's begin with today's tutorial. Now, I have this, and even sometimes if it's even 3 minutes, I use 3 hours in rendering. Why? Number one is because I want the output to be good. And it's because that most of us too, we don't understand the concept of rendering in Premiere Pro. Now, when it comes to Premiere Pro, there's a lot of settings that you have to look at when it comes to rendering. Now, number one, your machine, your specs of your machine also counts. Now, most of us, we use this machine whereby our graphics card are not that huge. I'm talking about the gig of some of us are using 1 gig, some of us are using 512 megabytes, some of us are using 2 gigs, some are even using 12. Now, apart from that too, some of us, our processor and the memory that we use in our Premiere Pro is not much. Now, let me show you something over here. Now, let's come to edit and let's go to preferences. Down with the preferences, let's come to general so that I can have the list of whatever that we are talking about. Now, let's move straight to graphics. Okay. Now, when it comes to graphics, you can see test engine, whatever. Now, let's come to media. Now, when you see the media, you can see this interdeterminate media time base. Okay, 29.9 FPS drop frame. Now, this one you are talking about your frame rate of which you are working with on your timeline. A lot of people doesn't know this. Now, a lot of people shoot maybe 50 frames per second, and when they put it on the timeline, it's also another thing altogether. And when they are rendering too, you'll get it as time goes on. When they are rendering too, they have a different way of also rendering and choosing their frame rate. And that one will be another topic of the day. Now, let's come to memory. Now, when you look at this, the total memory that is being installed in my machine is 24 gigabytes. Now, since I've opened Premiere Pro, you can see most of the Adobe Suite over here. You can see After Effects, Premiere Pro. It's highlighted because that's what I've opened right now. And you can see most of them. Now, right now, the machine has automatically dedicated 18 gig for Premiere Pro only. So just imagine that you're having 6 gig RAM in your machine and you are using Premiere Pro. Just imagine. So, and it has reserved about 6 gig for me to use, but the total memory is 24. So it means that the machine is not using the inbuilt memory, the RAM. It's not using all the 24 gigabytes, but it's using only 18. And most of you, when you are using Premiere Pro, it needs more memory. for you to work with. So you can come over here and come and change it. So here you can change it. So if I increase the number over here, it will automatically change. So let's say 10 gig for this. You can see that it's changed from, let me show you, preferences. Let me jump straight to memory. Now, you'll see that straight here has changed to 14 gig. But because Premiere Pro, I need more of the memory to work with, then let me choose 6 over here. So when I choose 6, you see that it goes to 8. But 6 is okay for me. I don't know, guys, you are getting what I'm talking about. Good. Now, after I have done this, now working on Premiere Pro will be a little bit faster. A little bit faster. Now, when it comes to the playback too, that one's another thing altogether. But these are some of the few settings I want to take you through. Let me see if there are some other ones over here that I have to talk to before I move to the final one. Okay. Okay. I think over here, I'm done over here. Yes. So let's come to the rendering. So as you all know, you come over here, File, then you go to Export, then you come to Media. Now, when you come over here, there are a lot of settings over here. That is the format of which you want your image to come out, right? But basically, I would suggest that you choose H264. Yes, that is the format. Now, when you come over here, there's the preset, right? How you want to customize it or what Premiere Pro has given to you. So let's click on preset. And when you click on preset, you are going to see something over here. You are going to see high bit rate. That is where the problem is. So guys, please take attention. You are going to see high bit rate over here. Then when you put on high bit rate, there's something that happens here. Now, look at something over here. Look at this number. We have chosen high bit rate and we have come to adaptive. Let's come over here. Now, when we came to the adaptive, okay, you see that at first it was at 10, right? But now it's at 31. So if we are using 31 megabytes per second, we are rendering 31 megabytes per second. My brother, just imagine the number of hours that you are going to. Now, when I begin to render this right now, it will slow the entire system. Though I'm using that huge amount, that huge memory. Okay, so let's come back. So you have to customize and choose what you want for your machine. Now, a lot of us, sometimes we shoot in 1080p, and when we are rendering, we will come and choose 4K. Facebook 4K. But your video is in 1080p. And a lot of people think that have you seen how the machine is? It has started even running slow, and the whole thing has even, so we have seen. So let's come and see the 4K. We are rendering around 24. Even this one is because it's a Facebook preset. That's why it has given this. But on normal basis, if your machine is running, you should run your 1080p at 20 or maybe 15 or at most 19, but 4K around 30 to 37. That is your bit rate, and you have the quality of your video. Now, let's come to this one. You see that as you are coming to, now when you see SD, it means that standard definition, right? We have high definition, standard definition. Okay, so when you come over here, you see that it is at 3, right? Good. So how can I customize it so that when I render, the whole rendering speed will go high, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll put it at customize. Then let me scroll down. When I scroll down, what happens is that you can see I have 10 over here. Even with this 10 that I'm having over here, guys, it is going to take me, that's what I rendered this video with, the 10. It took me 24 hours to render this video. 10. So you that you're having less memory, maybe 16 gig memory, what you are going to do is the quality will not be, we are using Premiere Pro, you should know, we are using Premiere Pro. The quality is not going to be all that bad when you shift this one to maybe 5 or 3, which is standard definition, which is not bad, right? Which is not bad. Now, When you do this, we have gotten through the first stage. Now, you see a bit rate encoding. Please, when you are doing this, because of time, you are not using a huge graphics card, just choose the VBR1 pass to avoid unnecessary time, right? Because when you choose this, what happens is that it will take more time to render. It will take more time to render and it will delay your time. Good. Now, secondly, let's look at this one too. Let's come over here. You leave this one as it is. Now, use maximum render quality. With this one, if it's taking 48 hours to render through once, it will take twice of it. So, for instance, if I'm using 48 hours to render and I choose use maximum render quality, it's going to take me 48 plus 48. You should just calculate. And we are entering into 5 days of rendering. And just imagine you are left with 1 minute, and this part of our world, they can just off light without even giving us a notice. So just remember, just imagine, that you are almost 1 second left and the light is out. You have to start the whole process again. Now, there's a good news also over here to reduce the rendering time. And I'm going to take this. So we'll be going back. That is, use previews. Use previews. So let's go back and let me show you this. And I told you this one is a hack. So let's cancel this. And we are back over here. Now, most of the times, rendering speed also increases when you do color grading. Yes, when you do color grading, it also increases your rendering speed. So there's some color grading that I did, a little bit of color grading, and it's taking much of my time. So what am I supposed to do? The only thing that I can do now is to render this one alone, render this one alone, render this one alone, so that those files will be there for me. So when I'm about to go to render the entire files or the entire video, then the ones that has already been rendered, I add to what I have. Okay, so let me show how to do that. So I'll click on this adjustment, or let me use this one. This one is the borders that I have over here. So let me use the borders, and let me come to sequence. Then what I'm going to do is because I've selected this one, I'll come to render selection. So just look at it. It's going to calculate and render it separately. Now, the reason why we are seeing this one over here is because the red color over here is because it has not been rendered. Okay, so you can see now it is rendering. It is rendering, and it's rendering this one alone. And just imagine this one has the files of 234,084. So just imagine, and right now it's calculating, moving. So time left is 8 minutes, rendering this, so 8 approximately. If this one is 8 and we don't know about this one, and this one might even go higher. If you are here, you can see that my machine is becoming slower and slower because it begins to use more of the memory. And there's fans, the processor's fan also has changed, the sound has changed, and its speed has also changed. So remember, it has done 2 out of 16, and right now we are at 11. My machine is getting more slower, so I have to stop it over here so that you understand. So let me stop it over here so that you can continue with this tutorial in peace. So you can see, I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing on my screen, that's giving out enough video to maintain smooth stream. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. Yes. Okay, so I've stopped that. So for instance, let's take it. For example, you have rendered that portion and it's over. And now you want to do your final rendering. The same way, you can render everything over here. You press on Ctrl E, then it will select all, then you come to sequence, then you click on render selection. So this one will render the whole thing smoothly. And the good aspect of it over here is that you can stop or cancel it. The files that has already been rendered will be over there. So when next time when it's continuing, it will continue from where it ended. It doesn't mean that it will not start. It will start reading when it gets to where it got to before it was cancelled. It continues from there. I hope it's well understood. Okay, so can we go on? So what we are going to do again is let's go back because we have spoken about rendering sequence, right? Or render in and out. So let's go back to file. See, the machine is getting more slower because you have tempered with the memory. So let's go to export, then let's come to media. Okay, now let's come to where we were before we left. Okay, so let's scroll down to this side, and what we are going to do is we'll come over here, use previews. Remember, so if you have rendered what you had, the only thing that you are going to do is you click this one, so that let me put this on. Okay, so look at this. It says that applicable only for sequence export from Premiere Pro. If preview files are already generated in Premiere Pro, selecting this option will use those previous files and make rendering faster. So you can see that. So when you choose that, it will help your rendering speed to be more fast and faster. I hope you get it. So simple as that. So when you click it, we are not going to spend that hours again in rendering. So if you want to spend that much time, you just add this one to it so that it gives you better encoding, right? So when you see this, gives better quality scaling but increases the encoding time. So if you need time, you have to just take this one so that you go to export and start exporting. I hope you understand. Now, the next thing that I'm about to talk about is the size. Now, remember, the bigger the bit rate, okay, the bigger the entire file size, right? So if your file size is very big, you should know that you're going to spend much time. Now, let me prove it to you. Now, look at this one over here. We are saying that we are rendering at 10 megabytes per second, right? So with this, what we are going to get at the end of the day, the entire file, the estimated is 6,039, and this one is about 6 gig, right? 6 gig plus with some few megabytes. So this one is 6 gig. Now look at something. The more I reduce the bit rate, the number also changes. So let me come down, you see, so at most, if your video is around 2 gig, I don't think that quality, so 2184 is around 2 gig. So if your video is around 2 gig, I don't think the quality will be all that bad, right? I don't think the quality will be all that bad when you're exporting from Premiere Pro. I hope you get it. So you have to also look at that. So if I'm saying that I'm rendering at maybe 20, that means that at the end of the day, I'll be having about 13 gig of the bigger size. And remember, we are rendering a wedding video. How much? Which size of memory pen drive that you are using? Maybe 16 or 32. And 16, and you're having maybe wedding 13 and maybe engagement 13. At the end of the day, you have to get them 2 extra memories. So memories, or what do you call pen drive. I hope you get it. So the lower the target bit rate, right, it also reduces your estimated file size. And I said with 2 gig is normal. If 1 gig is even normal, right? So running at 3.91 is okay. So I think these are some of the few things that I can highlight on it today. So when you apply some of these things, I'm telling you the truth, you are going to have a smooth rendering in Premiere Pro, and it's also going to make your rendering time so easier. Okay, so without spending my time, I have to do another video on Filmora. Okay, how to export on Filmora, that is 11. As I promised that, I don't want this video to be lengthy. So guys, go through, watch it again, go through these settings again. If you have any question or answer, please leave it in the comment section. I'll get back to you and I'll give you the answer that you want. We might deal with some other things some other time, even doing